What's up everyone, it's Q from Retro Q Gaming, and you might have noticed over the last little while I actually mentioned a video that I was making that I ended up cancelling in the end, but I real quick just want to explain a little bit about the video and why it was cancelled. So a couple of weeks ago, maybe even about a month ago at this point, I actually made a video just finally fed up, sick and tired of the Nintendo Switch fanboys and Monster Hunter World, and in particular their relation to each other. Now, I was very happy with the video that I put out in that respect, because that's a whole other video that's still up on the channel. I'm very happy with the message I put out in it, with the points I got across, and just the evidence, essentially, if you will, albeit anecdotal, that I actually used in that I was really happy with that video overall. So I eventually got to the point where it kicked back up again, and it just progressively got worse and worse and worse. Specifically after the announcement that Monster Hunter World actually has now not only become the best-selling Monster Hunter game of all time, but the best-selling Capcom game of all time, beating out Resident Evil 5, which took years to become up to that point, whereas Monster Hunter World did it in like 2 months. So yeah, that was a bit of a big deal. Of course, that drove the Nintendo Switch fanboys and defenders straight into overdrive hyper salt mode, which I finally hit boiling point again with. So what I did was I went to 5 specific Monster Hunter World topics on Nintendo websites. That's right, Monster Hunter World topics on Nintendo only websites. Yeah, that's how salty and butthurt that actual Nintendo Defense Force actually is when it comes to Monster Hunter World. So I spent a decent amount of time over a couple of days using these 5 articles, and I went through the comments section of every one of these pages. Now keep in mind that the salt was flowing so freely that there were hundreds of comments on each of these articles. And what I did was I went through every single comment in every single article, and I pulled out all the absolute best of the best fanboy, butthurt, salty comments. And I was going to make a video on it, laughing at every single individual comment, breaking each individual comment down about why it's salty, why it's butthurt, why it's fanboy. Because let's face it, there was a huge amount of them out there. Anyway, long story short, I ended up coming in with just under 200 comments. Some of them were pretty long, but I think it was about 188, 189 comments that I actually pulled from all these 5 articles. And it was all the usual fare. This isn't Monster Hunter 5, this is a spin-off. No, it is Monster Hunter 5. Capcom have come out and officially said it. It's like, oh, the game doesn't look any good. This could run on Switch. The usual fanboy crap. So anyway, what ended up happening was I was going through all this, I was making the video and all that. I got less than halfway through it. I was about 80 or so comments deep after one session. And it turned out to be 2 hours long for less than half the comments. Now, just for fun, what I did was I edited some of it around, cut out some breaks, got rid of some fuck-ups when I was talking, and I cut it down to about an hour 40, somewhere between an hour 30 and an hour 40, but I want to say it was like 138 or 139. And I just thought to myself, I was like, wow, I have less than half of this done. And it's probably going to turn out to be a 3-hour long video destroying salty Nintendo fanboys over Monster Hunter World. That's not something I can put myself up with. Because the reason I stopped originally at the first part, and I stopped at less than halfway, it wasn't purposely to review the footage. I was just getting so sick and tired of the absolute salt that I was pouring all over myself because of these comments. So I just sat down and thought about it. I was like, you know what? Enough is enough. I can't do this on this video. So I ended up cancelling it. Deleted the footage I had. Deleted all the comments. Nearly 200 of them, mind you, all saved in individual images, and then I announced that the video was cancelled on Twitter. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, these people are just already set in their way. They're already in their mind that they are right, that Capcom is wrong, that Nintendo is right, that everyone else is wrong. And sure, it's fun to clown them, but it gets to a point where there's just a waste of time. And that's the point I was approaching for that video. But that's it anyway. If you want to hear my compressed, condensed thoughts about the whole thing, I'll leave a link to the original Monster Hunter World / Nintendo fanboy salt video that I mentioned, the clear and concise, and one I'm actually very happy with. I'll leave a link to that in the description below, so feel free to check it out. Now remember, I always will end off with this just so some people don't get the wrong idea. It's perfectly acceptable to not like Monster Hunter World. It's perfectly acceptable to love the Switch. When you start pulling out fanboy logic and fanboy reasons, that's when shit gets real. And then you're gonna get clowned. Anyway guys, peace out, thanks for listening, and I will hopefully see you on the rest of the videos in my channel.